Injuries for this week. K1 will be out. Josh Norman doubtful. Kittle questionable. Kinlaw questionable. Elijah Mitchell questionable. Go ahead.
Kittle running out there a little bit just as you guys are warming up, but kind of seemed encouraging as a game time decision.
I think we'll have a pretty good idea tomorrow. I thought it would be. I think I said earlier in the week that I thought he'd be all right. The fact that he wasn't ready to go on Thursday just worried us a little bit more than we were expecting, and the fact he could do a little bit today was much more encouraging than what it was yesterday, and hopefully we have that same result tomorrow.
Did he first tweet that in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I don't know whether it was Philly or whether it was Detroit. He's gotten stepped on pretty hard, so that bothered him. You have to ask him which week it was, so I know that bothered him, and then we just thought that was irritated a little bit on Monday, but the fact it was bothering him more than last week just concerned us a little bit more.
Kind of a contusion then, not just...
Yeah, we think so.
We've seen Raheem Mostert out of practice the last couple of weeks. Has anything changed with his status? Is he still waiting to have season-ending surgery?
No, nothing's changed. He's still waiting on to have the surgery, which he told me it takes some time for them to find the right donor for that part. So he's just waiting and spending time with the team.
You mentioned Norman needed to do some testing and things like that. Is he still in that process? Or
no, that testing, I believe, is tomorrow at noon or one or the other. And that's a big part of it. A lot's going to be how Josh feels, but regardless of that, it doesn't matter if he doesn't pass the testing.
You know what that consists of? Yes.
Whether I think fluid in his lungs, things like that. The stuff that had made them have to go to the hospital and all that, and they just got to make sure that's all out completely. I know he's feeling a lot better, but they got to make sure the tests show that.
If he can't play, I don't know if you can spell it out. But,
I can't, but go ahead.
What is the potential plan as far as top three quarterback?
We'll play one of our top three, whichever ones we decide there by Sunday. But I think you guys know the situation. We brought in Buster this week, so he's another option. Demo's been out there for us playing. He's played at nickel and he's played outside for us. Drake Kirkpatrick has a chance to be up there. And who am I missing? And Dante Johnson. He's filled in at every spot for us. So we know we can put him at wherever. I don't have it set in stone though right now because I'm still trying to wait till for sure Josh is ruled out.
What about Ambry Thomas?
Ambry, he would have a chance to get up, but with those guys I just mentioned, probably not.
How much further along are your running backs that aren't Elijah Mitchell and Trey Sermon, the guys that you brought in the last couple of weeks?
I think they know more. You never know until you see them in games. That's one of the toughest things about running backs. But in terms of going the right direction, taking the handoffs the right way, pass game always a little bit slower because there's a little bit more to learn in that. But they're ahead mentally than they were last week and for a couple of them 2 weeks before. But you usually find that out in the games.
Is Trenton Cannon a guy that you would use as a running back, or is he more just kind of exclusively special teams?
We brought him here for special teams, but with what he's shown us in practice and stuff, we have no problem putting him in at running back. I've watched what he's done on other teams, and when he's gotten his opportunity, he has playmaking ability, which he has shown as a returner, and there's no reason that we wouldn't use him.
You mentioned Mostert's speed allowed you to do things and run plays that were unique to him. It's just, I don't know, if you speak to maybe just not having him and that be some of what's going on with the run game.
When you lose your number one back, that's a huge deal. We knew that on the second play of the Detroit game, how big of a deal that was, and that's why we tried to take care of him so much through the preseason because he was a guy we knew that would be really tough to lose. Fortunately, we did get some draft picks, so we had some depth. The hardest thing too with losing Raheem was, the way we lost Jeff Wilson in OTAs, so that made it a lot tougher. So got a lot of confidence in these young backs, but a little more pressure put on them a little quicker than we were anticipating. But we had a little bit of bad luck with that, and that's part of the league. I thought Elijah did a hell of a job filling in for Raheem, showed that he was more than ready. Trey, it took him a while to get up, but he has with these injuries, and I thought he ran the ball a lot better versus Green Bay than he did in the preseason. He had a better week this week than he did last week, and I expect him to keep getting better with the opportunities being given.
When you say a guy has a better week, are you talking like classroom stuff or just what you see on the field?
What I see on the field. There's a feel to running backs and how fast they can hit stuff, and I mean, guys who just run full speed through there sometimes run into the backs of people and can't hit it the right way, and they miss a lot of holes and opportunities. And then some guys slow down so much to try to hit it that, yeah, the hole's there and it just passed them, and they got 3 yards instead of 8 yards. That's something, Raheem didn't have right away. But holy cow, did he get as good as anyone as I've been around at being able to use his speed while getting to the right holes. And it takes guys a lot of time. And just watching Trey this week, what he's done good or bad in games, you always want to see how they apply it to the next week. And things I thought he struggled with that we've tried to get him to focus on. You see him go into practice and do it. And we saw that on Wednesday. We saw it on Thursday. And I hope it carries over to Sunday.
I think you said on the radio that for Elijah Mitchell, it depends on a Saturday test that he has to. I mean, is that just a pain?
Yeah, it's just a pain thing, and it's nothing. I can tell you guys right now, I don't question his pain tolerance. The fact that it's taken a while means there's a lot of pain in there, and if he can go and take it, that'll be pretty impressive. And it's each day helps a little bit more. I think it's taken a lot longer than he was hoping. But he's been able to do a little bit more this week than he was last week, and with our situation, that's why I'll give him as long as he needs, and as long as we have.
I don't know if you had your list in front of you, but where does Sanu rank on your list of tough guy wide receivers you've had?
He's right up there. I mean, Sanu, the game's not too big for Sanu at all. He's never nervous of the moment. He never turns anything down. He's been a very good receiver. I mean, he's been a very effective wildcat quarterback when people have used him that way. I think he's had like one incompletion and a bunch of touchdowns in his career throwing the ball too. Sanu is a very good football player in every aspect.
He had a block on Samuel's 19-yard screen. Did you catch that? He was pretty pleased with himself.
He was what?
He was pretty pleased with himself.
He should have been. He takes a lot of pride in blocking, and I hope to say that our whole team does. I mean, that's something that's very important to us, and it's we get it just as excited about a great block as a great catch, and when they know it's that important to the coaches, and we point it out a lot, and they see how important that is to winning and losing games. I like to have guys that understand that that's just as big of a deal, even though not the rest of the world always realizes it.
How much could it or does it potentially change your process when you're devising a game plan during the week when somebody like George is uncertain to play, given what you can and can't do without him?
A lot. I mean, and it's easier if right away, because then you don't have to sit and wonder and go plan A, B, C, and D. But you know how good of a player George is, so I'm sorry dealing with that. I'm going to leave out as much hope as you can till the last second to get a guy like George up.
We haven't seen Aaron Banks since preseason. Has he made strides here over the course of practice over the last month?
Yeah, I think he has. I think scout team is a big deal for Aaron. I think he got hurt his second preseason play and then missed the whole preseason. And coming out of college, being a much bigger player, not asked to run as much as we do and stuff, he was going to have to practice a lot to get into that, to the playing shape and the movement that requires such a big man to do some of the stuff we're asking. And he missed all that time. So for him to just get there and to go every day on scout team for now, he's going into his fourth week of it. I think it's helped a lot. It's helped him get into much better football shape, and I can see him becoming better at what he does, more consistent each day.
Was that transition similar to what Lakin dealt with when he first got here in terms of, not being not a super smooth transition early on?
Yeah, very similar. Lakin had been in the league for a little bit, so I think, and the more you're for all rookies, it takes a little bit of time to understand the difference in the NFL. So I think Lakin already had that. But yeah, Lakin had never been asked to do some of the stuff we were asking him to do, and it did take him some time. We didn't have the same depth and the same situation at that time, so he was still forced in to be a starter by like his seventh day here or something like that. But that's why he got better as it went, and he's gotten pretty good at it. All right, guys. Take care.